Hi, this is Brittany Drost, and welcome to Eye Openers. Thank you guys so much for being here with us because if you weren't, it'd be me and Jason talking about these business insights by ourselves. So it's so much more fun to have people here with us asking questions live on the call, or if you're listening to this after the live recording, you can still send in your messages and questions and we will get them answered for you. But if you've been here before, you know that our eye-opening insights are fueled by caffeine on this show. And so before we jump into the nitty-gritty business details, we always connect over what are we drinking this morning to help derive those business insights. So Jason, cheers.
Yep.
Good
Cheers.
morning.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I love the monogram on the mug. Very
Yep.
nice.
Yep.
I got to make
We
sure
have
it's
one for
yours.
every member of our family. So
Oh, good.
even my three daughters, we have one. They don't drink coffee, but sometimes we'll have a V or an E or a Q. Yeah. So
There you go. Stops the sharing too,
yeah.
no COVID germs. What do you use to fuel your morning and light you up for the day?
Yeah, I have a pretty good routine, coffee routine in the morning. So usually I'll get up, I'll get ready to go, turn the computer on, and let it load up, and then I'll go and maybe grab a small bite to eat. But then of course, we have a I would call it sophisticated coffee maker. I think my wife, it's like her prized possession. So basically, I just have to push a couple buttons, and so I do a combination of two espressos with a americano, and so that gives me the three shots right
All
away.
right. Okay.
And so I'll do that. So that's good, and I'll drink that, and then I actually will go back about an hour later and do one more americano, and then that should be good. That should be good for the day. So that takes me through until about 2 o'clock when I start to get the after lunch, hangover, and then I try to fight through that last part. But yeah, so
Yes, based on what I've read, it's probably best to stop that caffeine at noon, but this isn't a health
right,
show. I'll leave that to Andrew Huberman to tell you what's the best biohacking thing to do.
right.
I'm also a coffee lover as well. I have a pour over routine in the morning, and I think I stick to 1 cup because it takes so long to make. It's quite a
Mm-hmm.
commitment.
Yep.
It's like the opposite of the fancy coffee machine, but I am
Yeah.
also quite partial to my process. I
Oh
use it
yeah.
as a little bit of an intention setting for the day, kind of slowing myself down and thinking about what do I really want to create today. And then we
Yeah.
also have a pretty good view out our window here in Santa Barbara, and so I like to use it to kind of connect with the morning light and nature as well. So I
Yeah.
let that be my inspiration.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to have you on the show today because I really believe in how financial experts can really support us as business owners. And so there's some really, really good reasons why you're on the show today. But I always want to let people know why they should be listening to the insights you're going to share with us today. Jason, who's the president and founder of Signature Analytics, is shaking up the way business owners run their businesses by highlighting the gaps in data and reporting that many business owners face and sharing insights on how to improve profitability, increase productivity, and run your company smarter, which is I'm so excited about. I live and breathe this kind of stuff too. And having data to back it up is just so important. Jason has
Right.
20 plus years of experience in the accounting and business advisory field, working with mid-market companies and nonprofits. We will share these actionable insights and strategies to help you run your business smarter. So welcome to the show, Jason. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We had a little pre-meeting about who you are and what you are awesome at so that we could really think about what people would want to hear on the show. And what helped me really connect with you most and realize, oh, you're going to be so awesome for this audience is that how people see a financial advisor or anyone who like an accountant, that kind of finance function in a business versus
Mm-hmm.
what you can actually do for them
Mm-hmm.
is quite different. So maybe tell us a bit about how you think people typically see a finance function for their
Yeah.
business, like in your experience, and what you guys have done to really be so much more than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually like talking. I tell this story. I go through this a lot. So a lot of companies, when they first get started up, they're focused on selling and growth, and they'll hire a bookkeeper, they'll hire, maybe they'll start to hire a sales team and whatnot. and they're really focused on growth and operations. And you can get away with that for a while. And at the beginning, accounting and finance is really looked at as kind of that necessary evil, right? Well, I gotta pay my bills, I gotta invoice, and I gotta collect. I gotta have enough cash for payroll, and I gotta file my taxes at the end of the year. And what companies realize as they mature and as they grow is they start to feel the pain points of losing control of what they thought they had control of in the past. And what I mean by that is, as the business gets more complex and you start growing and you start hiring people, cash flow becomes critical. So understanding, the flow of cash within your organization or within your company. If you're a manufacturing company, especially, you're having to buy product and spend cash well ahead of when you actually produce the product, sell the product, and then collect from your customer. So there's a cash cycle that really needs to be understood there and managed effectively. And I've seen companies that basically have grown themselves out of business because they just run out of cash. And so that planning is important. And then what also happens is these companies start to outgrow the sophistication of their existing team, and so they start to feel the pain associated with that. So they don't have credibility, or aren't able to have good discussions with banks or financing opportunities. They're not able to have good discussions with potential investors, and they're not able to provide good financial information. And so these companies, they need that higher level sophistication, but that high level sophistication is very expensive. These are expensive. A high end controller, a high end CFO is very expensive. So what we've done is we've been able to shift and say, okay, let's keep your existing team, but instead of investing in one person for one role for a very high cost point, let's provide you that top talent on a fractional or flexible and scalable way. So you get that leadership, you get that sophistication, so that you can really get consistency and get good reporting, good data, good information, to be able to make decisions and achieve the goals that you have moving forward. So there's a progression of small and then growth, and to be able to truly excel past and get breakthrough from a growth perspective, there comes a point with every company where they need that sophistication in finance and accounting. And the ones that don't, they're constantly spinning their wheels, and always frustrated, and that's a tough spot to be in.
Right. I've seen so many companies be held back by this. And in fact, I was on the phone earlier today, because I have a lot of East Coast clients, so I start my day super early. And we were like literally discussing a bankruptcy because they got themselves in this situation. And what I believe is, in my experience as an organizational psychologist, there's a lot of shame and embarrassment behind not totally understanding your numbers. But
Right.
you guys, this is way too big to let that feeling of shame or embarrassment stop you from getting the help you need, because it can literally take your company down. And for some perspective, this is not just like a small business owner problem. This is why I want to illustrate for you not to be ashamed about it. I have worked with other companies who were like Series D funded. Like these people had like $100 million and still got themselves in this situation with a former public company CFO. And so I just want to say that to illustrate, like, if you think you're supposed to know this stuff and you don't, that's not the truth. Like, that's not the case. You're still a great business owner. You still deserve to have the success that you should have, but you need an expert like Jason and his team. And guys, I'm not being paid to plug him. I really want people to understand how valuable this kind of expertise is in a business. I have someone in one of my businesses that we pay for this very kind of support. And you're right. It is so unattainable for most people to have true financial experts in their business. And not only like interpreting information, but bringing the tools in to capture good data, because garbage in equals garbage out. And I think that's what a lot of companies are actually dealing with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the education point is critical too. I mean, that's a lot of what we do is we help to educate the business owner and their team on how to be more sophisticated and what it means, and get them good data and information so they have visibility to be able to take those next steps in their business. And to your point earlier, as it relates to these companies that get themselves in trouble, we've seen a lot of companies as well that have been in a situation where they don't have that visibility, and ultimately it comes down to as a business owner, what are your goals? Why did you start the business in the first place? And there's a lot of different reasons. The monetary aspect, hopefully, maybe a lot of business owners, maybe they want to sell, maybe they, hopefully they're saying, hey, I want to make some good money, right? It is critical to be able to understand your finances if you want to achieve that goal. And being able to, if you have an understanding of your finances and they're positioned the right way, and you position your company the right way from a financial perspective, you're able to maximize the business valuation, so that when you do want to, if you do want to exit or sell, you're able to maximize and actually sell a company that is worth, considerably more than if you didn't go through those steps.
Right. And why that's so significant is that the way those books look allows you to get a better multiple on that sale.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Exactly.
we're talking about exponentially more money now, right? And that's why that's so important.
Oh,
and
yeah. Like
you have to line that up. Well, just you have to line that up years in advance. And people don't understand that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that do it 3 years before you want to sell, so that you can get those financial records where they need to be.
Yeah. What I was going to mention is that a lot of, the valuation of a company is mostly based on the industry that it's involved with or that it's in. So, and most companies are valued based on a multiple of what they call EBITDA, which is net income, and you take out like depreciation and interest and stuff. Mm-hmm. The multiple range could be anywhere from 4 to 10 or 4 to 8, or, depending on your industry, whatever it might be. So less sophistication, higher risk, you're going to be closer to the 4. Higher sophistication, lower risk. A lot of that risk is financial risk, concentration with clients, the role of the owner, etc. Mm-hmm. You're going to be closer to 8. So 2 things. One is, how do we maximize EBITDA? So that's which can be done over a period of time. And then how do we get you to be looked at from an outsider as a 8 EBITDA multiple versus a 4, and that's 2 times. That's twice as valuable as a 4. So there's that spectrum, and we want our clients to be on that high end of that spectrum, so that when they are in a position to sell, they're maximizing what they're actually getting out of it.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that part. And I don't think a lot of people make that connection. Another reason that I wanted to have you on today, beyond this incredibly valuable financial information, is that you take incredible care and consideration of your team and your internal culture of your business. And you've mentioned to me that you attribute that to a big part of this company's success. And I would love to hear, what are the top 1 or 2 things that you intentionally do to pay attention to the culture that your company has, and reinvesting in your team that is ultimately what's driving the business's success?
Yeah. I will say I never understood how, and a lot of people don't understand what HR does for an organization. And, outside of just hiring and onboarding employees and making sure our benefits are in place and stuff. But the strategic part of HR, I never knew how important that was until we brought somebody in a number of years ago in a director of HR role, who really transformed our business from not only the blocking and tackling side, but really the cultural side of the business. And so we shifted considerably. And when we look at culture, a lot of people think, well, we go to happy hours and we have a ping pong table in the office and stuff. And culture is way beyond just going to an occasional happy hour. Although I think we might even have one today. But culture is about connecting our people and ensuring that everybody's aligned in the vision of the company, and also the vision of the goals of each individual within the company as well. And so what we implemented is, because our people drive our revenue. I mean, they are our revenue drivers. I mean, it is critical that we have, that we are paying attention to our team, that we have I always call Signature Analytics as a platform for our people to grow in their careers professionally and personally. And so we want to know what their goals are. I know that most people aren't going to want to spend the next 20 years of their career at Signature Analytics, So let's talk about that. What are your goals? If you want to a career path from where you're at now and you want to be a CFO of a larger organization, that's great. Let's give you the opportunities to do that. Let's give you the opportunities to work on the industries that you like and appreciate as well. And so what we implemented was outside of just working with our client teams, we now have implemented an entire people management structure so that everybody within the organization has a people manager. And this is more than just the buddy system that we used to do when I was in public accounting, which is really doesn't give you hardly anything. But people managers are involved in hiring process. They're involved in the annual and semi-annual review process. They're involved in making sure that they're meeting with their individual on a monthly basis to walk through their schedule, make sure everything is appropriate. And it's not all at the top level, so it's just one level up. So if you're a staff, you have a senior accountant as your people manager. If you're a senior, you have a manager, and so on. And so that's created that's created a huge impact on the culture of our organization. The other piece is the connectivity. We're in a virtual world now, so how do we continuously connect? We're on Zoom calls about clients all the time, but we have to connect as an organization as well. And so we have monthly meetings, monthly company-wide meetings where we talk about all different types of things. And we get up and we talk through that, and we try to get people interactive. We use a system called 15-5, which
Love
allows
15.
fantastic. And so that's where we run everything through the high fives. We highlight the high fives. We want people to talk about them and to use it, and we highlight that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, we also we had a goal, I think, 1 month of just like getting people connected. So we have people in different cities and getting them together so that people can see each other individually. And I think we had 20 different events going on in a 1 month period. And it's just some of them are 2 or 3 people or 5 people, and some of them are bigger events like going to a game or something. But getting people connected is critical.
I love that. It's so important. There's some really brand new data out that's saying the thing that is most highly tied to retention right now is, do you have a best friend at work?
Mm-hmm.
And that's which is wild. Like, that sounds like I just pulled that out of Cosmo or something. Like, I promise there's so much research behind that. And you think it'd be all these other factors that people negate how important these non-payment incentives are. There's so many ways you can drive engagement and motivation without having to do a raise. And this connection place is one of it, because it's what we're missing right now since COVID. We just haven't been able to get that back in the same way. And I love that you guys are so focused on that connection piece and kind of creating that work best friend, which is a really great employee retention.
It's critical. And even, comp is important too. It's not the only thing, as you mentioned. We do hire a firm annually to do a comp analysis to make sure that we're aligned with, where we feel we should be. And that's just one piece of the puzzle, as you mentioned. It's not everything. There's a lot of different things that go into why people want to work at a company.
Jason, so many valuable insights from thinking about a sale and how would I structure myself now, thinking about the resources you guys provide, and just the real importance of having strong data in to understand your financial position, plus how you run your company. How could people find out more about Signature Analytics and get in touch with you if they wanted your help?
Yeah, it's signatureanalytics.com. Pretty straightforward. The name is can mean a lot of different things, but it's really it's about providing that support from an accounting perspective, and then that CFO leadership to, on a flexible basis, outsourced or whatever you want to call it, to really take your business to that next level and support where you're going.
And if you're watching this post-production, we're having all that in the show notes. There'll be the links for you to click on to make that super easy.
Yeah, and I can be reached. LinkedIn is easy as well. I'm always on that, so feel free to reach out any way you want.
Great. Thank you so much for hopping on and sharing your expertise and your eye-opening moments with us. It's certainly been helpful to me, and love hearing that you guys are out there and doing the good work for companies who need it and also taking care of your own people at the same time. And to the audience, thank you so much for tuning in. Would love to hear your feedback and your questions in regards to this interview. And for Jason, we'll make sure to get them over to him. And until next time, thank you guys.
Great. Thank you.